Hey fam, welcome to another episode of Good Bad and Ugly about real estate. I got a great guest for you today. Have you ever wondered how you can get into real estate and walk away from your W-2 job? Do you ever just want to make some today money, not tomorrow money? Well, my next guest here has gotten so much success that he wants to share that with you. So help me welcome to the stage, my friend George. How's it going, George?
I'm going fine, Jose. How about yourself?
Oh man, life is good. I got up today, so always a good day when you're vertical. You know what I mean?
True, very true, very true. Especially when you hear these, and a little bit of news when you hear somebody that has passed away, and they're younger than you, to where like, wow, that's one thing to be grateful for if I'm having a crappy day, regardless. But
Exactly.
learning to have that good perspective in life.
Absolutely. Well, I like to start my podcast by having my guests share their journey in their real estate. So, can you share with everybody how you started off? What made you get into it, and where you are today?
Sure, sure, my man. Yeah, Jose. Growing up, now I'm growing up, going to school, all that good stuff, and obviously thanking my Hispanic parents for building in the work hard method of show up on time, be attentive, and so barely making it out of high school, being able to graduate, and not knowing what to do, so I joined the army, seeing that instead of having my parents continue working to help fund my education, why not let the military do it? So was able to join the army. Enjoy seeing a little bit of the world as a mechanic, learn a trade to where how everything works out, and obviously meeting people from different parts of the world and learning how to work together in that sense. And after that, utilizing now getting out because I was tired of getting my hands dirty, working the mechanic job, but enjoy the craft and enjoy the people, and then obviously utilize the money I was able to get for college. So actually doing it for that reason and being able to get a couple of college degrees. I tried to be a cop. Utilized the GI Bill to actually attend the police academy. Graduated top of my class, but for some reason
Congrats.
they wanted to hire me. And so knowing that God has a certain way of, closing certain doors and opening up others, to where my last W-2 was at the post office as a mail carrier, and being able to get the joy out of delivering mail, whether a lot of the mail wasn't really, uh, how can I say, they weren't looking forward to it, but the older community still waiting on pieces of mail, gifts from family, and being
Sure.
able to deliver that to them, Jose. And right before real estate, I kind of felt like a grit where I needed something to where making money, I guess, to a certain extent is easy. To where my last stop was mail carrier. Organize your mail, put it in your truck, and go deliver it. Come back in a certain amount of time, and okay. But then I'm like, man, I don't think I can do this for like 30, 40 years. It's got to be something else. And yeah, just I think I heard a commercial about a real estate. Joined another community called Fortune Builders.
Yep.
They hooked me. My wife was in there. Usually, my wife is that filter. What she knows how to read up on bullshit,
Yep.
BS, and like, yeah, babe, this is a good choice, and got into it. But obviously, that led me into the Subto community, where I finally, was able to take off. Not sure where you want me to stop because I always have that question like, how far do I go back into
Go
it?
go
But
back as far as you want, man. This is your
yeah.
time. Tell your story.
God, Jose, yeah. But yeah, the main thing I think what got me into real estate was just knowing that it's the joy. When I was in the army, when I was at the post office, and even a couple warehouse jobs, enjoying the people, enjoying the just the camaraderie of, man, we're both getting screwed or this job sucks, but at least we're together. But knowing that there's something bigger, and so in real estate is almost similar. Obviously,
Right.
real estate investing, starting off wholesaling, learning that it's not about being a real estate investor, which I learned a long way. It's not what you do, it's what you can help people accomplish. And then being able to communicate and learn how to navigate those conversations, whether it is somebody in a distressed situation or a fellow real. I'm not sure. This is the first time I was talking to Jose, but really figuring out what it is that you do in real estate and seeing how we can kind of work together. Where it's that's been most of my success by JVing, doing joint ventures, figuring out what the other person needs, what we can possibly work together, and maybe like say if you're open to collaborating, closing deals that way. And now, 3 or 4 years into it, I can say I've done over um, 30 deals, mostly cash, some creative, and some by myself, to where I can tell you from A to Z. And to the title of your podcast, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the being cheap and you wanting to be the TC and learning the ins and out of that, but also learning that if I want to elevate, it is delegating those responsibilities and obviously being able to depend on. I would say reach out to my peers. Being in Subto, I know so many people to where it's a blessing to just say picking up the phone, asking them a question, and then being able to answer that question for me, and then really seeing that power, which is like, wow, this person picks up the phone, they'll answer questions for me, and vice versa. I want to give them as much time as possible. Kind of say undersell and over deliver.
There you go.
Hmm.
That's our motto, right?
Yes.
So, people that are watching this, they come from different backgrounds. They also are different points of their life. What has, um, what makes it easy for you for acquisitions? Because you say that you've been having a lot of success with 30 deals, and to some people that are watching this, it could be that's a lot.
Hmm.
So, how did you educate yourself enough to know, like, hey, I know how to get a deal under contract and how to dispo, or how do you dispo? Maybe that make it a two-part question.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it was a journey, Jose. I think for me, just be open with you guys or whoever's listening. It doesn't have a lot to do with mindset and having clarity of what you're trying to do. For an example, it's yeah, I'm a real estate investor. I do all this, but no, you can give two rats about me unless I have something you need from me. So it's learning how to ask questions like that, learn how to be that go giver, or recently going to church here the last 2 or 3 years of being a servant leader. How can I serve you? But
Right.
then learning how to say that to certain people, or being curious and learning those things that obviously in sub two, I was able to utilize those tools of learning how to navigate those conversations. And so with acquisitions, really figuring out as acquisitions and wholesaling, what you're trying to look for is a motivated seller, and the cliche title or the definition is somebody who's willing to give up time and equity for speed and convenience. And
Sure.
then finding that person, making sure those numbers make sense, and then locking it up. And then on the dispo side, maybe presenting it to someone like yourself who'll say, "Hey, I got this nice deal. I think I got it locked up at the 70% minus rehab, minus my assignment fee. What do you think?" And then being able to negotiate that with you, where, all right, George, I like it, or man, George, we gotta change these numbers around. But I think to answer the dispo question, it is leaning on those relationships I do have with buyers, to where even on the first conversation with the seller, I'm kind of listening to them and then being able to share that information with someone like yourself and trust that you, Jose, are not going to take that deal from me, but you're going to give me the honest opinion. Like, yeah, George, I think 300. I'll buy it at 140. Boom. Now I know to go back to the seller, say, hey, Mr. Seller, 130. I get the sold 30 days, money in your
Yep.
pocket. What do you think? And then seeing how that works out. And obviously, in a perfect world, that's how that works.
Right.
If I can answer that question, but obviously, there's things that happen sometimes in between.
Yeah. A lot of people watching this it would say that they have a hard time offering such a low um, number, or
Mhm.
offer for a property. How do you overcome that concern, or what did you do to kind of tell yourself it's okay to offer that kind of price?
I think it goes back to obviously having that conversation, knowing who's really your market, or who are you trying to find. So it helps a lot, and I'm still working that out, Jose. Where it's, are you marketing to the right people, and then the right market, you have the right salespeople in place to where yes, we are. I would say I would reach out to people who are going through foreclosure because are going through a situation, whether it's their fault or something that happened, but they had enough time to communicate with the bank. So it's being able to come in there, not wanting to buy the property, but seeing where they're at in the path. What have they done so far to keep the property? And then if those options run out, okay, well, we do have these other two. They're not as great, but it does involve selling your property. But knowing that I'm not here just to buy it from you at that point, what does selling the property look like after you sell it? What is the amount of money that you need? So it's thanking people like in Subto, Jeff Smith, who used to be in Houston. So obviously I was able to pick up on those nuggets to where you're kind of like the real estate doctor. Before I
Yeah,
can offer you medicine or a solution, let me figure out if there's really a problem. So a lot of times I like to use the cliche line of I'm a problem solver. I can't solve your problem unless I know what it is, and once I know what it is, I can offer you solutions for it.
right. A lot of people, myself included, back in the day, would say, "Oh, my market is saturated," or you
Hmm.
can't find a deal here.
Right.
Do you do you just invest in Houston, or do you look around nationwide when you finding buyers? Are you kind of reverse doing it, like finding what your buyers need and then going looking for properties, or do you find a property and then look for the buyers?
I kind of do it backwards, where it is it's going through the rigorous of being, I guess, how could I say, being a knucklehead and spending money buying the leads or buying the VA and not knowing anything, to where it's actually learning that, to your point, reverse engineering. Hey, Jose, are you buying in Houston? What area are you buying at? What zip codes are you buying at? And maybe concentrating on that good enough to where you will help me find my first deal. But yeah, it's being a knucklehead and learning that, obviously, depending how wide you spread that net, how many fish are you going to catch, or are you going to have more opportunities if you go outside of a major market like Houston, and maybe go to a small city like Beaumont. And but yeah, I guess to answer your question, I think it just depends on what you're trying to do. And as far as what's your capital, how much money do you have to spend? Because I think I heard somebody, RJ Bates, say that we are living in the golden age of wholesaling, where we have
Mhm.
so many options where we can spend the money. And now the leads come to us, which is called inbound leads, compared to
Yep.
what I'm doing outbound. I'm bothering Jose. I'm asking him questions about his house. He's going through a certain situation where I'm trying to learn, man, how can I get Jose to open up, let me know what's going on, and also get over myself. If Jose doesn't want to work with me, fine. Let me follow up with him next week. So I think, if I answer your question, it's just depending on, how long you want to do it, how much money do you have, and what is that goal. So I think it's more of a clarity thing, because it's not a get rich overnight kind of thing. It's really wanting to love it and wanting to do it, but also being able to leverage other people that you run into.
Gotcha. When it comes to wholesaling, you got to get the property under contract. How are you, or what method are you using for like EMD? Are you using other people's money? Are you using your money? Are you offering a small down, you know, entry into the deal? What is your strategy?
$10 or $100. I'm blessed to have some great mentors in my community, Jose. Where when you do direct to seller, it's a little bit easier to put in, because if you're doing such a great job solving their problem, they're not looking twice at the EMD, compared to an agent that's normally, I won't say brainwashed, but they're used to seeing that 1% of
Conditioned.
purchase price in there. And so I mainly do direct to seller, to where, to my point, it is being able to solve their problem so good that they're not worried about that $10 or $100. But also, if that opportunity pops up, or that obstacle comes in, it is being able to know enough people to where, like, I need $1,000. My spread is 20K. I think we can make this happen, to
Right.
where it is paying that person back once we close, because I have such a widespread on that deal.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
It's interesting you say that because people in Houston, they're always saying, "Oh, the standard rate is 1% of the purchase price for down payment, and then you got to pay
Mhm.
for your option."
Yeah.
Um, so it's I guess, refreshing for me to hear that there are people doing deals.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as little as $100. That's good.
Yeah, and to that point, Jose, you're doing such and I think that goes back to what am I worth? And I think it's a analogy with not analogy, but definition of sales. You're doing such a great job of selling what you're selling that when it comes time to sell, you're like, hey, sign me up. I don't care how much it is. Kind of like how great Pace does when he is pitching Subto or he is pitching Owners Club, and everybody's willing to write that book because they have a bigger goal. They know what they're going for, and they're willing to pay that amount to get it
Absolutely.
done. So I guess that's going back to the motivated seller. They're willing to give up time and equity for speed and
Sure.
convenience.
Gotcha. Yeah, you said you had 30 deals that you've been involved in.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
that's been involved in any kind of real estate, whether it be front end, back end, or anywhere in between, there's always been some, highlights and some, ugly times of being involved in real estate. Can you share a good story and a bad story with us?
Yeah, just I guess it's a little bit in between in that same deal, Jose. It was a because a lot of what I do, I try to market myself a lot to where it is being vulnerable enough to put silly videos out there, but let people know I want to close deals with you. And so about 6 months ago, one of my high school friends, unfortunately, she lost her mom, and so she was seeing me kind of marketing myself. Hey, George, do you buy properties? I was like, yeah. Do you want to buy my property? And my mom passed away, and she told me a story. I'm like, well, okay, well, yeah, why don't we do this? And I did something different on that one, Jose. What I did is why don't we just hop on a Zoom like this, a video call? That way I can meet your husband and I kind of hear you out what it is that you need. And so getting to hear what is it that they're trying to accomplish. And then it was funny because whenever they told me what their price was they wanted, I was like, oh crap, that's higher than what, because I already kind of did my ARV and my formula,
Yeah,
but that one went well. And I think what helped out, obviously, with technology now, having ChatGPT helped me out. Once I got to meet them, being able to print out like a or email them all options. I think that's the key at the end of the day, Jose, giving them options. This is a
sure.
cash option, pros and cons. This is innovation, pros and cons. Creative financing, pros and cons. And hey, let's sit with an agent, pros and cons. And letting them choose. And so that one went pretty smooth, but at the same time, to share the bad part, come to find out that we were trying to do a what they call a sub two flip by keeping the mortgage in place, making the payments while we own it, while we're flipping it, and then putting on the market. But the mortgage company, man, Jose, they were giving us a hard time. And then come to find out that unfortunately the mother that passed away, um, during that time of passing away and going through the probate process, no payments were being made. So
Oh wow.
once the probate process was finalized, the property was going into foreclosure, and like, oh crap, we have to come up with X amount to reinstate it. Is it worth it? To where we had to change it up, and unfortunately, at that moment, I had to give up a lot of my assignment fee, but the sellers ended up just breaking even. To where, to be honest, I was worried, like, man, not the fact that are they going to work with me or not? Like, wow, I promised them that I was going to put money in their pocket,
Right,
but I think hopefully, and I haven't talked to them honestly. I've been scared to call them. Hopefully, they feel like that weight was big enough to where they weren't really worried about the money. They're just worried
right.
about not worrying about their mom's property. It's out of their hair, and they can move on with bigger and better things in their life.
That's awesome, man. That's one of the nice things about real estate is we can actually help people like that, and people don't
Yes.
understand. Um, through
And to
my
add to that,
journey,
Jose, I was sorry if I could add to that. I think what I'm learning too, based on doing all that now, by reaching out to them as well, now they know. Okay, hey, I think George is a good guy. We weren't able to get this, but hopefully, I was able to explain why they weren't able to get anything at the moment. But
right,
they're able to share, spread the word. Now that next opportunity becomes quote unquote easier because now it's not. I don't have to have that imposter syndrome. Like no, I buy properties. I work with buyers in the area, but just like I helped out, our friend here, that the same way I want to help you out. So let me understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish and see if I can help you out as well.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
What I was going to say was, that's one of the things I like about it. I've been able to help two people in foreclosure, postpone and not to go
Mhm.
through it. So that's been great for me. You shared a lot with us in this time. How you've gotten into wholesaling and helping sellers and making some money, and how you're structuring your deals. Well, what is it that you need? What are you looking for people? If somebody was watching this that thought they could say, "Hey, you know what? I like that guy George. I like to partner with him, or I like to help him out, or I even just want to watch him grow in his journey." Like,
Right.
what is it you're looking for?
Good question, Jose. Honestly, I'm getting more comfortable, and obviously going back to I think we spoke about earlier, having that clarity. Do I want to be the next Pace Morby? Nah. Do I want to be the next Jose? No. Nothing against those great guys. It's knowing that I have my own path and what
Sure.
is my real passion. And I forgot to mention this in the different jobs I had in the army, in the post office, and even as a cadet in the police academy. For some reason, I was able to explain things better than the actual teacher was, and it's learning that I think that may be my true passion, being able to teach something some teach something to somebody just simple as wholesaling or how
Right.
to communicate on the phone where it's a lot of active listening. It's less about you and more about the person you're speaking with. And I would say as far as helping out, that's a good question because I'm still in the process of those 30 deals I've closed. They have been very inconsistent. So it's
Sure.
trying to look at out of those 30 deals, how did those deals come about? Because obviously closing 30 deals, I can say I effed up about 50 of them, but obviously I learned a lot from them as well. But how can I keep this consistent? And so it is learning, is it maybe finding the people that are willing to help me out, or is it about just getting rid of everything and just going to work to where I can create my capital? Or is it possible that somebody's out there that say, you know what, I think George is a good worker. um what if I were to pour money into what he's doing? And how does
Sure.
it work out being creative to where it is, hey, let me do the cold calling for you, let me do the lead managing side, let me be the closer. And then maybe we could do, instead of outbound like cold calling, maybe we can spend some money on PPL because it still work, but the ratio from close is way smaller with PPL. But obviously, does that person have the bandwidth? And
Right.
obviously, in our industry, a lot of people have been burned. And so I guess if in order to, I guess if I can ask you something, or the people watching, just seeing if you have any deals in Houston, let me know. I know a bunch of owners club members that are looking for deals, but obviously, like I tell my other people that I speak with, they're very conservative. Not everybody goes by the 70% minus rehab and minus
Yeah.
assignment thing, but they're legit. They'll work with you, and because I'm added to the formula, they'll go above and beyond to make it happen because it's knowing what your value is. And so I think it just goes back to just spending that time with those right individuals. And I think that's it. Yeah, just I guess if you can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Buy Your Home. Facebook is George Perez. I think, yeah, the George Perez. And then I do have a podcast as well. I've been kind of slacking on bringing people on board, but I would love to have you one day, and whoever is watching maybe want to have an interview just similar to what we're having, Jose, and just getting to know each other and see how we can possibly do a business together.
That's awesome, dude. So for the audience, if you have some deals in the Houston area, reach out to George. He'll help you find a buyer for him. If you're somebody who is looking for a deal in Houston, he's got them for you. And I'm sure he'll, if it's the deal's right, you could JV and maybe even partner from beginning to close on it. So he's open to everything in that market. He's, like he said, he's focusing. George, for me, thank you for your service, my friend. I'm a fellow vet, so anybody that serves is always a good person in my book.
Right on.
And yeah, if I get any come across anything, I'll make sure I share with you. I'd love to find a way for us to work together. That's the you know that to me that's the key of being in business is find new partners and ways to create find more people to network with to create more opportunities. So
Exactly.
thank you for that. If you didn't catch all of his socials, guys, don't worry about it. It'll be down into the description. If you like this, the old saying, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm trying to bring all kinds of content to you guys, and leave a comment. What do you think about this? What, hey, that guy George was a good guy, like, or hey, can we know a little bit more about wholesaling? Let me know what you're looking for, so I know what to bring to you guys to make this more valuable. Because my whole point or intent is to bring value to you, those that are watching. So, to the next time, George, thank you so much for giving us your time, and to the audience, we'll see you in the next time.
Peace.